It all seems to be coming to a head, my friends. This is Tony. Hope you're all doing well. We got so many new stories to get into. In this video, we have, of course, all the wonderful things going on with this protests, of course, in various, cities. We have Mel Gibson chiming in. We actually have a number of other people also chiming in. We have this big story about how our president is going to be going after a big name that no one would ever expect. We'll get into that. We have also robots that are literally walking around cities. We got ones that look completely human now due to the updates in AI. We're going to get into actually a ton of other stuff, Bill Maher and much more. Let's just start here. Apparently didn't go so well with the Kings there. Of course, Kings protest that has been canceled in Hollywood, California. Actually, in numerous places it got canceled, although there are large ones in some cities. And even in Minnesota, it happened to get canceled also in some areas due to, of course, that big story with the lawmakers. The two lawmakers that, of course, are no longer with us. And it's kind of interesting because one of those lawmakers specifically voted the wrong direction, was one of the few that went the wrong direction on a certain bill that was kind of important. It had to do with, those not so legals in our country getting certain benefits. So it makes you wonder if it has anything to do with what the Minnesota GOV had to say here, the Gov, Tim here. Check this out.
The governor's being mean, and the governor's speaking out on that. Well, maybe it's time for us to be a little meaner. Maybe it's time for us to be a little more fierce.
A little bit meaner, right? And then what happened? The person that he hired went out and did these two crimes. And obviously, it makes you wonder why he said those words. The timing seems rather curious. And of course, we have all these other stories. Obviously, with Florida, because of what this policeman here said, this is why they canceled most of the protests there in Florida. Basically arrest you for pretty much anything you do wrong at all. And let me just play a little bit of this. You'll see what I'm saying.
So I'm gonna break it down for you. All right. And if somebody wants to know what I mean by turn violent, all right, this is what I mean. If you resist lawful orders, you're going to jail. Let me be very clear about that. If you block an intersection or a roadway in Brevard County, you are going to jail. If you flee arrest, you're going to go to jail tired because we are going to run you down and put you in jail. If you try to mob rule a car in Brevard County, gathering around it, refusing to let the driver leave, in our county, you're most likely going to get run.
So, of course, he goes on and makes it even sound worse than that. Actually, that was the best part, or the nicest sounding part, I mean. It gets way worse as he goes on talking about how you are not going to be in good shape afterwards if you do any of these other crimes that he talks about. And it's kind of interesting because we had this all start in L.A. Mel Gibson, when he was on Joe Rogan, his house burned down. And of course, all of this was with the same exact leadership that they currently have with Gavin Newsom. And he goes into it and talks about it in this video, talking about those that live in LA should vote these people out and take back their state and their city.
Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass have already proven their incompetence and poor leadership during the Los Angeles wildfires. Now, as we experience rampant lawlessness and civil unrest, it's never been more clear they're unable to respond effectively and responsibly during calamity. Whether it's sheer incompetence or outright malevolence, the reality is stark. California's in a state of turmoil, and I ask my fellow Angelenos, why are Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass still in office?
Good question.
How much more of their destructive decision-making masquerading as leadership are we going to tolerate? It's time to take back our community and our state and put the power and the privilege in the hands of competent leaders whose goals are to protect us and the way of life this nation was founded upon.
And actually, this seems to be sort of a microcosm of our entire country at this point. We're seeing very little progress in turning this around. We're seeing a little bit. Our president clearly getting some stuff done, although he's running up against so much coming against him. And it's kind of amazing watching this. It almost feels like it's a spiritual battle going on, honestly, in our country, in our world currently, with all the things happening in the Middle East, here in America, and of course, all these NGOs that seemingly are, of course, are part of this. That comes to the big story that we're going to get into in this video with regards to a certain man potentially being arrested. I talked about it over on my other channel, but we're seeing actually the plan formulate that could very well make it happen. And if this one domino goes down, I'm guessing all the rest will as well. Because it sounds impossible, but once it happens, or maybe improbable, once it happens, I think you're going to see a lot of things fall into place, things change, because clearly there's a dark hand behind all these things that we're seeing around us. And we're going to get into that as we get farther in this video. We got some really surprising stuff to get into with regards to their plan, and also a number of other stories as well. First of all, I got to mention food supply, 25-year shelf life. Link is in the description. 3 months worth for $4.97. You're going to definitely want to get that if you have not already. They have some of the best prices right now. This is, honestly, it hasn't been this cheap ever. You're going to definitely want to get that if you have not already. Link is in the description. This book here, The Lost Ways, How Your Great-Great-Grandfather Lived Without Electricity, How to Build a Cellar, Do Things Around the House, as they did in the good old days, hundreds of pages illustrated. You never know what's next. Just wise to be prepared. You don't want to be stuck trying to find a book like this after the power's out. $37, get the printed version. Let's get back to the video. So, of course, we have a lot of people chiming in on what's going on. And I think Matt Walsh really says the whole thing here, my friends, because it reminds me of what we saw 4 or 5 years ago. All the people declaring no kings were just a few years ago cheering and enthusiastically submitting as we were locked, of course, in our homes, forced to wear, muzzles on our faces and compelled to do other things as well, which we didn't want to do. These are the very same exact people behind what's going on currently, accepting all of this. They're just believing whatever they're told on social media. And honestly, we need to stand, of course, up against this. Theirs is not organic. Ours is. All right? And I think this is a good way to start it off right here, my friends, with a little bit of clouds for those in the protest. President literally laughing at this entire concept as if he's like some sort of dictator. Check this out. When he's asked the question about it.
Several No Kings protests planned across the country on Saturday as well. What are your thoughts on those?
What do they call it? No kings?
No Kings.
I don't feel like a king. I have to go through hell to get stuff approved. A king would say, I'm not going to get this. A king would have never had the California mandate to even be talking to him. He wouldn't have to call up Mike Johnson and Thune and say, fellas, you got to pull this off, and after years we get it done. No, we're not a king. We're not a king at all. Thank you very much.
Goodness gracious, if he was actually a king, he would actually be able to get a lot of things done, which, of course, he's been stopped at almost every turn. Of course, miraculously, he's gotten some stuff done, which I'm happy about with these tariffs, with Doge. He's gotten some stuff done. He actually got that through Congress, kind of amazingly. but definitely not a king. Now, of course, there is a guy who acts as sort of a evil king out there in the world. We're talking about Georgie boy here. This guy's been around for decades, causing trouble all across the world, seemingly untouched like a king. The kings are actually behind the no king, protests, as far as I'm concerned. And they're robbing us with the money, our tax money, and using it against us with these protests. And here we have actually a plan to finally get this guy behind bars. Check this out.
When do the shackles come out? Because we've heard Hawley banging the drums,
So
about
Hawley
this.
posted. So I want to give credit to someone specifically, two people. First person is the data Republican. She actually has been responsible for pulling all this data together, and she's actually who I saw this. And then also Laura Loomer was also the one that sent me the stuff on Code Pink and Singham's wife. But those two people, credit due where it's deserved. But what are we doing about it? So I actually talked to Comer, and we actually have a letter going out today. You'll see that come out in a story with the New York Post. But a letter going out from all the members of oversight asking Neville Singham to come in to testify. If Neville Singham does not come in to testify, Mr. Singham, if you do not produce documentation and come testify before Congress, you'll be subpoenaed. And if you ignore that subpoena, you will go to jail because we will hold you in contempt of Congress. And Merrick Garland is no longer in charge. So we are going to ask for financials, and we are also going to be asking him to testify. Now, Mr. Singham is not a registered.
We need more than that, though. But I think this is a good start. Get him before Congress. Perhaps after that, pull him into a court case and have discovery on these things. Of course, you can do this in front of Congress. I'm curious if he'll show up. If he does show up, will he be stalling the whole thing? But if it gets in front of Congress, perhaps this would be enough to get sort of the message out there enough to where people are not happy and something bigger happens to where they could pull him in on some sort of crimes in court and then have discovery. And then from there, we finally unravel this whole thing. Because once you get some of the big guys at the top like this guy, I think the whole thing's going to fall apart. And we're going to finally see sort of the light come through the darkness, sort of like the clouds separating. All this darkness we've seen over our country over the past however many years you want to say. So, of course, we have other things going on as well. USAID official, 3 company executives plead guilty. Fraud and bribery scheme involving 14 contracts worth over $550 million. This just is an example of some of the things going on. USAID official Roderick took bribes, was showered with lavish gifts, including cash, laptops, thousands of dollars in tickets to a suite at an NBA game, country club wedding, down payments on 2 residential mortgages, cell phones, and jobs for relatives in exchange for bribe payments. Of course, Watson influenced the award of contracts by manipulating, the procurement process. He faces only 15 years. Are you serious? This is what I'm talking about. I mean, look, someone in your neighborhood could rob a pizza delivery guy for $15 and get more time. I mean, it's that ridiculous. Well, maybe not more time, but you know what I'm saying? It's like that ridiculous. Okay. This guy did something, and we should have crimes. We should have punishments that fit the crimes. These people are getting slaps on 15 years of slap on the wrist, as far as I'm concerned. This guy deserves way longer than that. It's absolutely ridiculous. This is the kind of stuff that needs to be changed. And I think once we just get a couple of these guys at the top, just one of them even, I think the whole thing's just going to fall apart. And we're going to see finally the light pierce through the darkness and see some serious change for our country. Now, of course, some of the organizers of these, protests, here's one of them sitting right next to Michelle. oh, that's kind of interesting. And of course, I've seen some videos about her recently as well. We're not really covering that here. Oh, actually, maybe we'll cover it a little bit. We got here a clip. This is from Gutfeld. Let's see if I can play this one really quickly here. Yeah, here we are. This is pretty funny. Let's play this joke. This is a joke, of course, right?
Is that he's chronically late. For example, we're still waiting on him to admit he's from Kenya. And as for Barack's pet peeve about Michelle, he's mad that she keeps leaving the toilet seat up.
Oh my goodness.
When she cleans it.
When she cleans it. Oh, of course, when she cleans it. That's what it was. Yeah, of course. And then on top of that, it reminds me of this video I just saw of Will Smith in his new cringe song about how he likes girls, but he likes pretty girls, all right. And parades out. I'm just, what is this? This is what we call pretty girls, apparently, in the mind of Will Smith. Dressed in such a bizarre fashion. They look like overpaid models or something that walk on the runway. These are not what I would call pretty girls, at any rate. So his new song apparently is garnering a lot of ridicule. A lot of people are saying, what the hell? Is this guy having a midlife crisis? What's going on here? But at any rate, you got that going on as well. Like I said, with this whole thing with George here, you got people literally wearing vests with his name on them. I mean, how much more obvious could it be? It's just really that ridiculous. You have Gavin Newsom. I cover this over on my other channel. This is pretty hilarious. Gavin Newsom apparently wants to be president. It's super obvious. Of course, it completely backfired. He was like saying, hey, just come arrest me. I don't want to stop the protests. Arrest me. It's just hilarious. Of course, he wants a mugshot so that he can be just like our president and get into office off a mugshot. Here we go. This is the clip right here.
Come after me. Arrest me. Let's just get it over with. Tough guy.
Tough guy. Tough guy.
Okay, please.
It's so obvious he wants to be president with his super cringe moves from the 80s too. Here's him apparently in the 80s dancing. This is when he was younger. You know, he's a little older than me. He's like 7 years older than me. I can't imagine someone dancing like this back then. He's in the middle, of course.
Pure energy.
With the little weird dance moves.
Pure energy.
Oh my goodness, dude. I don't remember any dance moves like this back then. This looks totally, I don't know, retarded. It looks just like, I mean, honestly, this is like Katy Perry level of cringe. It's just really terrible. You have that. And of course, we have also a few other things to go over here, my friends. These robots are going amok, my friend. This is crazy. Check this out. We got robots walking down the road now. We got robots that look literally like humans. I thought this was fake at first. Let me show you this one first. This one's crazy. I saw this with the entire body. Like I saw this here. I'm going to show you. Let me just show it on the screen. With the entire body in a different clip. And I thought it was a real human. And they just like, you know, did some like graphic thing or whatever to make it look like it wasn't human. But apparently I was wrong. Check this out. That's pretty creepy looking. It was also talking. I saw the one I was standing was talking, and it looked just like a human talking. And I was like, what the hell? I gotta go find that one. This one, it just showed her face and her looking around and stuff, and it looks pretty real. But the one I saw where it was the entire robot standing up, I think it was the exact same robot with a body, and it was like talking, and it looked like a human talking. And I was like, that can't be real. I think that was it, though. I think that's the same robot. It's got to be. Let me go find that other one. I don't even know if I can find it. Robot. Let's see. No, that's not it. Is that? No, that's one of those. Okay, never mind. Yeah, I can't find it. Unfortunately, it was I'm pretty sure it was the exact same robot. I'm pretty sure, but it was talking, and it actually sounded like a human talking. I thought it was fake. But then we have, of course, robots also walking around in cities apparently now.
Well, turning now to a strange sight on the streets of Austin. Maybe you spotted this today on social media or in person. A robot wearing a cowboy hat walking alone on South Congress. We reached out to APD and the city to see if they knew anything about this, but it's...
I've seen other videos like that as well recently. So you got that going on as well. At any rate, it's kind of my video. I kind of want to know what some of you guys think. Let me know in the comment section below, and thanks for watching.